Yom Tov. Today is the 20th day of March 2020, and I am Stephen Bruck. This is Messianic Moment Ministries, and I thank you for being here. Because we are in a leap year, in order to have the annual reading cycle of the Torah comply with the Gregorian calendar, there are some Shabbat readings where we will read 2 parashah instead of 1. This Shabbat is one of those times, and it also takes us to the end of Sefer Sh'mot, the book of Exodus. Now, in these last chapters, we are told of the generosity of the people in giving all the materials needed for constructing the tabernacle. In fact, Moses had to order them to stop bringing materials because they had contributed too much. We are told how the construction and the materials were made, and these chapters are almost a word-for-word repetition of the instructions God gave Moses earlier. The style of the last chapters of Exodus regarding the tabernacle is like reading, here's what you are to do in minute detail. Then we read, this is what they did in minute detail, ending with, and this is what was done in minute detail. The last chapters tell us that Moses blesses the people for their work, which is likely when he wrote Psalm 90, which they did exactly as God commanded. And we end this book with God's presence filling the tabernacle. And as we come to the end of the Torah book, each time we read a statement at the end of each Torah book, and that statement is Chazak, Chazak, V'nit Chazak, which means be strong, and let us be strengthened. Now, regarding the building of the tabernacle, we are given so many minute details of every aspect of this task. I mean, we are told how many loops in the curtains, how many posts and how many bearings, what is made of which material, how many pomegranates there are, the dimensions of each section of the tent, and the weights used of the materials. Would you like to know why there is so much detail regarding the building of the tabernacle? So would I. And you know what else? I don't think we'll ever know why. The same sort of minute detailing is given when Ezekiel measured the temple, which we can read about in Ezekiel 40 through 43. It seems that there must be some reason, and maybe that reason is simply so that when we do rebuild the temple, we will already know what we need to have and how to do it. Who knows? Let's move on. What I found interesting in these readings is that Moses did not ask for God's guidance or pray for success when they started to build the tabernacle. At least we're not told about it. And he did not bless the people for their work until after the entire task was completed correctly. And I've always thought that when we start a project or begin a task, we should ask God for guidance and bless the people performing the task. But the Chumash explains Moses held back his blessing until after the project was completed because it's a relatively easy thing to start something difficult, but very hard and rare to complete it exactly as it was supposed to be done. Now, my take on this is that a blessing is not given, but earned. That also jives with what we read in the Bible, as God's blessings were given after something was done and not before. We should ask for God's guidance and help, but a blessing is not to be given until the task is completed. The same holds true with obedience. God has many blessings, so many that if you put them into a bottomless pit, they would spill out over the top. But we will not receive even one blessing if we do not do something worthy of one. Yes, I know, yes, there are times when God will bless someone even though they don't deserve one. And we know that he reigns on the just and the unjust alike. So there will be times a blessing is given that has not been earned, but that is God's choice to do. After all, these are his blessings to give. And if he wants to give one for no reason that we can discern, then he can give it. And really, who in their right mind would ever refuse a blessing? Right? No. The lesson for us from all this is that when we do as God says we should, we will receive a blessing. We will not get anything for not doing anything. And that means when you have a need and ask God to help you, He is willing and able to help, but He will not do it for you. Too many people sit around complaining about their life and asking for prayers from others. Yet, when they are given advice on how to get out of their slump or how to meet their needs, they always seem to have some excuse why that won't work. Or they will say, oh, I've tried it and it didn't work. I often wonder when someone says nothing works, if they really tried hard enough to make it work. I mean, how many times have you tried to open a jar and you just found it too hard, then you get really angry at the jar and just grab it and open it up? Is it the anger? Is it the adrenaline? Or is it just simply that you finally put the effort needed into the task? When you're in a slump or have a need, it is right and a good idea to ask God for help. But it won't do anything until you start to walk in faith, just as Abraham did, by getting off your kvetching tuchus and do what you would do as if you already had what you asked for. Yeshua tells us this is what we should do in Mark 11:24. There he says, therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, trust that you are receiving it and it will be yours. Figure out what you want, determine how to get it, ask God for help, and then get started. Don't wait for an answer and don't wait for a sign, for no sign shall be given. Just walk in faith, trusting that what you ask for will be given to you. But keep your eyes and your ears open, because you want to be able to see where God leads you once you start walking. You never know. You may start in the wrong direction and God will have to redirect you. God's blessings are here for the asking, but they are not given until after the work is done. Amen. So, thank you for being here. Please subscribe. Click the icons here and go back to the website to the subscribe button in the margin. Click that too. And share these messages with others. Please help the ministry to grow. And I always welcome your comments. Until next time, Hitrot and Shabbat Shalom.